This is being recorded September 11th, 2022. Organically, I just realized the date when I just said it, September 11th. The time is 10:28 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just logging on, and inspiration came to me, and I am just following through, being obedient. So this was sent to me September 9th. I attempted to do what I was doing on the phone. The comment showed up, and then seconds later it was removed. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know, by YouTube bots, by the admin, by whoever, I don't know. It's irrelevant. What's relevant is that the comment was posted and it was removed. The reason why is in my meditation conversations, the conversation came to me where someone says to me to give back, because the vision is showing me my wealth and my success, and someone is going to say, oh, she doesn't give back. And the question then came to me now, as if I'm in a time, like I'm seeing ahead and I'm preparing myself now for the response. And the question is, what did I steal? Because you only give back something when you stole something. So unless you could show me how I stole my wealth, or how I didn't get my wealth integrally, and I need to give it back because I stole something, then please. But if you can't show me what I stole, I don't need to give back. And I think now I'm getting more and more insight. I'm getting sight internally. I'm seeing inside the mind of the wealthy when people think, oh, and the wealthy don't feel like they're obligated to give back, because they know they didn't steal anything. They did what you didn't do. They got up in the morning when you didn't. When I'm up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you aren't. When I'm up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you aren't. When I'm hustling, and I mean hustling illegally, hustling as you're getting up, the hustle and bustle of life, and I'm making the sacrifices to go to work 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, leave my children, all their stuff, attended to, and I make the sacrifice of doing the uncomfortable when many people stay comfortable. I have paid my dues to life. I've paid my dues to wisdom, to understanding, and to knowledge. Many of you now jump up now when you see the wealthy, and it's always the wealthy need to give back. No, the wealthy don't need to give back. The wealthy had the same amount of hours and time in their day. They were not gifted or granted more time, and you were not gifted and granted less time. You all had the same 24 hours based on what they say here. The same 24 hours, the same days, the same years, the same every goddamn thing. What did you do with your time? So it's always, oh, you need to give back, oh, the poor, oh, the disenfranchised. Oh, there are, to a degree, there is validity to that statement, to a degree, and I would say to a small degree, there is validity. Why would I say that? To the huge degree of it, mankind create their own poverty, their own disparity, their own oppression, their own demise, their own subjugation. You create it because you participate in it, you vote for it, you cry for it, you march for it, you swear allegiance to it, you comply to it, you do everything for the oppression, the subjugation, the humiliation, the disrespect, the abuse, the slavery, everything that you are crying, lamenting, petitioning, you participate in it. That's number one. Number two, I know this is a hard pill, And many of you are going to spill out of your seat, and you're going to be like, and you're going to be offended, and you're not going to want to watch. That's your business. I don't care. This is for those who have come to the point that's saying they really want to know why is their life the way it is. Is there any way out? Is there truly hope? Can we really get rid of this, or should they just throw in the towel and just go along? They really are at that crossroads. So this is for you, and it is for you. The mirror work that requires humanity to stop everything that they're lamenting and crying and protesting and activists about, and it's personal mirror work. What are you, day in and day out, with the same hours that you call corrupt people and all of this secret society people? They have the same hours of the day. What are you doing to grow their influence, to grow their territory, to grow their power? What are you doing? What you do is just complain, and you don't follow it up with true, tangible action. What you do is stay stuck in your prejudice and your biases based on outward appearances, and you choose not to want to get really good at discerning bullshit. You rely on your eyes, your ears, and then you say, I get a feeling. No, all of your feeling that you think you have, that is great discernment, it has already been programmed. You've already been programmed with a prejudice and a bias that you now think is so great at assessing bullshit. So the Canadian identity, or what it is to be Canadian, has slowly slipped away. And this is over, I would say, 150 years in the making. Slowly chipping away to where you are right now, where you solely base identity on appearance, on presentation, not on principles. No matter what is shown to you, presented to you, as a result of not wanting to let go of the Canadian identity that is superficial on appearance of what it is to look Canadian, as a result of not wanting to let go of that, you look for ways to hold on to your belief system. You don't look for ways to challenge to see if it's correct, because you're seeing you're going over a cliff and you need to reassess and really, really assess the mechanism and the vehicle that you're in. Is the brakes really, really good? I know, I believe, but you know what? Let me assess. Let me really assess that the vehicle I'm traveling in is integral. Because this is crucial. We're not leaving. This is so crucial. We cannot leave anything to chance. It's very, very crucial. No, you do not approach decisions, situations, and information in that viewpoint. You see the situation, you see the information, and as a result of wanting to hold on so much to that formed and learnt identity of what it is to be Canadian, the desire to hold on to that so much, you look to see how you can hold on to it instead of looking to analyze and assess and make sure that you yourself is not standing in your own way of your own freedom. When I say you yourself, your mindset. Being able to assess and judge properly. And sometimes it requires you intentionally setting up people. You intentionally setting up a situation to see how people respond, to see how they react. Because authentic advocates for truth, authentic advocates for freedom, they respond a certain way to information. It's like a DNA that they're trying to change. It's the DNA that they can't change. Organic, true reaction from a person who says they're searching for truth. They're being unapologetic. They want to know the truth. There's a DNA. There's a DNA coding. You cannot fake it. There's a DNA coding of how does that person react to information. So there are times, like right now, you don't think none of this was already created to see who is going to react and how to separate the sheep from the goat, the wheat from the tares, the called from the chosen. All this has been already designed to see the response of the people. And also it's designed for many of us to see people. And that comes in the marketplace, and it also goes into the religious space. This whole time has been for you to see people. So there are times when situation comes and you organically respond, and in the response you see how people react. You're like, wow. And there are some times where you intentionally create a response to a situation to see how people respond. That's when you know someone who's truly unapologetic of searching for truth, wanting the truth, and truly wanting to be free from all the manipulation, the lies. They truly want freedom for all. Like they really are against darkness and low vibrations, as you guys want to put all these nice new age terminologies on it, right? Like you're really against that. There is a DNA response, an organic look, a look, feel, smell, even taste and sense of a living person, a living man, a living woman, not the fake fictitious ones, the real ones. You get to see it. And then all you have to do when you're truly looking, you just accept what you see. You don't be like, oh no, that can't be. You see it, you accept it, you say thank you for showing me who you are, and you keep on moving. Because we are in a time and place, and I said this back in 2020 and 2021, you're going to have to be able to make decisions quick, fast, and hurry up, accept what you see, and keep on moving, because you are here to find the few. And it might just be you in your little corner, because there's others in their little corner, and you're going to find each other. Trust me, you're going to find each other. So I did this on the phone. It was removed, it was erased, and something said, go on, record it, because when the future me have to answer that question to someone that says, oh, you're selfish, you don't give back, I'm going to ask the person, what did I steal? Well, no, you benefit from being here. Yeah, and I did more than a Canadian. And when I say Canadian, the born, bred, 5 generations. Oh, my father, I'm 5-6 generation Canadian. My father fought in this war. My father, and this and this, and I'm more Canadian than that Canadian. I am so much more Canadian. I have already given back. I didn't steal nothing. I gave back as a sense of gratitude, devotion, and loyalty for truth, honesty, integrity, moral principles. People might call it biblical laws. To me, it's natural laws. I remain loyal to that, and I saw Canada as that. And as a result of seeing what was coming in, encroaching, what was in here, I couldn't stay, but it had nothing to do with being Canadian. It's like being human. And you're like, no, not on my watch am I going to allow this thing to roll in and not do anything. I gave back. I gave back much more than, quote unquote, that Canadian. As an immigrant who came here at 12, I gave back more to this country in the past 2 years when it was under the severe attack that it has been. The war that it was in was a very silent war that many of you were asleep on because the bombs weren't dropping and the sirens weren't blaring. You didn't see that war was declared on Canada, on your own soil from within, domestic and international. I fought and I gave back, and I have all the proof to show, and now I'm moving forward with what you Canadians showed me. You showed me that at the core of when your own being, your own sense of being human and being an officer of this corporation called Canada, showing gratitude to the indigenous who are the true owners of this land. When the time came for you to show up in those 3 areas, you showed me an nature and natural law, the Most High God, Allah, whatever English term you guys want to put on it, whatever English language, whatever tongue you want to label it, you showed that the core of who you are superficial. So after seeing all that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to roll with who you say you are and who you've allowed Canada to fall its hands into, or fall into the hands of. Put it that way. You showed and you allowed Canada to fall into the hands that it is. So I said, okay, I'm now going to feel totally 100% comfortable in moving forward with me, because I'm 100% comfortable in knowing that I did everything for Canada, and I did everything to assist. And you did everything against Canada, and you did everything to not assist. All right? So, when the future question comes, I'm going to play this video, and then I'm going to follow up as to what I've done as an immigrant here since 12 to be more Canadian than you who want to walk around with this sense of entitlement or this sense of ownership that you are more Canadian than every other Canadian. I'm going to show you how I was more Canadian than your pinky. That was in your pinky. Because when Canada, the land that you say you love and you're devoted for, when it was under attack, when 2020 came and the bombs dropped on Canada, for 2 years the bombs were dropping on Canada, and every step of the way you decided, you made a free will choice. It was still a free will choice. Many of us had the free will choice and we said no, and we suffered the consequences, while you didn't see that. You choose not to want to see that, because why? You hold on to appearances, you hold on to presentation instead of holding fast and strong to principles. Then you would be able to have seen the actors instead of seeing the actions. You saw actors and you accepted the actors. You accepted the actors. And you throw stones and crucified the actions of the real Canadians, the true Canadians that could have woken you up and ignited in you that true Canadian fight when you truly allowed yourself to see who your enemy truly is and who your allies truly are. So, this is an email that we got from Leslie's people. Steve, what's his name? Outhouse. As I said, I don't know who removed the comment, if it's a YouTube algorithm, a bot, admin, whatever, but the comment was there. It had 19 comments. I made my comment, which was all positive. Obviously, there's things in the comment that might ignite support for what I am doing, which is to assist the bigger picture of standing and fighting back. So, as I said, it was posted and then it was removed. So, I'm sharing it again.
Hi everyone, it's Steve Outhouse from Leslyn Lewis's campaign here with our final message to you as Leslyn supporters of the campaign. Thanks so much
it's unlisted.
For being part of our community here, and I'll say it's been a very special experience for me working with.
So because it's unlisted, if you go search on her site, you won't see it. So unlisted is a feature that you can send videos to specific people, they can see it, but the general public wouldn't see it, right? So if you go searching, I don't see it, that's because it says unlisted. They unlisted it. Okay, as you could see, I don't need to play the whole video because that's not here to whatever. If you are on Leslyn's team and you're supportive of Leslyn, I donated I think more than once, supported on social media and all this stuff, and you had signed up to receive, then you would have received communications including this one. So as you could see here, it has 18 comments now. Before, as I said, there was 19. I made my comment, it was there and it's gone. So I'm going to copy my comment again. You're going to see what it said here, so you can read for yourself and see there's nothing offensive. Right, I'm going to make you pause and read at your own leisure. I'm not going to hold the video long enough to go line by line, so I'm going to give each frame 3 seconds, and then you could pause it and then you could play. Alright, so you can pause, as I said, read on your own. So I'm going to click comment and we're going to see if it was allowed to stay. Again, there was no links, there's no emails, there's nothing in there that other people say, oh, the bot, or they've design comments that if links go in or emails go in, it doesn't post. So this time I did not put links, I did not put emails, and I only said that because it happened in other pages and that was the excuse or the reasoning that was given. And I'm like, okay, if you say so, that's what you said. So this time, in knowing what other excuses were for other pages, I made sure I didn't put any links to my site or anything. I told them where they can go. So there was no links, no hyperlinks, no email, no nothing, right? And basically, in a nutshell, as you've already read by the time you listen to this part, you've unpaused, is that I'm celebrating her, I'm congratulating her, I'm breaking down finally how Canadians need to see the identity of what it is to be conservative isn't the same identity that they might have as what it is to look Canadian. Values, principles does not have a color, does not have a destination or ethnicity. It's the soul and the heart of people. And if people have a soul and a heart that is for integrity, moral values, many call biblical principles, Others just call natural law. It's called respect and dignity, transparency, all of that. Over here in the West, it's called conservatism. Other places just called being true, being, as I said, having a moral fiber, having moral values, right? So what it's been said to be liberal is that you don't have morals. And it's like, okay, well, there are, but that's for another video. So what we find for those in African descent from the Caribbean is when we come over here, we see the Conservative Party align with more of our moral values that we've been brought up in. But then the dichotomy is now the liberal has more of the African descendants in it as a result of our parties back home. That was Labour Party, which was red, Labour, right? Labour, liberal, red. So you come over and you try to, again, when you're immigrating to a new land, you're trying to find something that's still similar, something that you could feel, okay, I know this, and you know, you can grow. So the Liberal Party, Labour Party, red, you're like, okay, sounds like the same thing also too. So you find more and more when you come, you see more of your quote unquote your people here. You're like, okay, it must be the same. It doesn't help that the immigration policy at that time was as a result of the Liberal Party that said, hey, come on over. So it's a sense of gratitude. And being African of descent, our gratitude is always at the level that it does come in our own way, where we're just loyal. And we see that in Christianity. In Western Christianity, African Christianity, we're so loyal and we're grateful for the thing or the person that did something for us. That gratitude easily goes into, yes, I'm loyal to you. Like, you're dedicated. You're like, oh my God, because I'm so grateful for what you did over here. Man, I got you. And that blinds us from seeing the other faces of the person that does not align with our values. We just put our head in the sand. We're like, I'm just grateful for what you did over here. I'm good. I know everything about you, and all I know about you is that you opened up this for me, or you made this way for me, or you gave me a reference here, or you helped me with this job, or whatever. And because of that, I am grateful for you. I'm indebted to you. So we go way above and beyond in this gratitude, and it does get in our way. So thankfully, as I said in that response, there is a generation of African descent that say, yeah, I'm very grateful for what you did here. Absolutely love it. Never gonna say that I'm not grateful for. And it doesn't have to be a but. It could be both. And what you're dealing with right now, or what you're doing right now, or what your policies are now, totally against my principles as to what I thought you represented. So over here, I'm grateful for this opportunity, the doors that you opened, how you assisted, and I have to stand against what you're now doing. This is totally, because this is the funny thing. If you showed me this of who you are, the now that I see this, if you had showed me this then at the beginning, trust and believe, it would have been a different story, partner. It would have been a different story. And that is what we of African descendants have to grapple with and begin to see. We can have both conversations. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be both. Gratitude, grateful for over here what you've done, what you represented, or that moment in time, and grateful, obviously. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And don't say but, because but just totally takes away everything you just say. And that's why I've always trained my children. They say train up a child in the way that they should grow and go. An apology does not have bip. It doesn't have but, it doesn't have if, and it doesn't have because. But, if, and because. If you have but, if, because, it's not an apology anymore. Because the but, the if, and the because takes away everything the person says at the beginning, and what they're about to say now, that's what they really want to say. But this is what I really want to say. I just said that, but discard all that. But, you hear that? The but. Discard all that. This is what I want to say. Da 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 da. If, and now this part of the if is what really is what they want to say. Everything before the if was just the dressing, but it was of no substance. And the because, da 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 da, I did it because. No. So but, if, and because, bip. And my daughter remembered that at a very crucial moment when someone that we trusted, had high value, loved, adored. I mean, the gratitude, like it was high, where the loyalty, we showed loyalty so much. We sacrificed so much to show loyalty to this person, to show the gratitude and the gratefulness of what they did. They misused that. And this is why I can sense the narcissism in everything, including our government. When you've walked it and you've been around it and you've experienced it, you can sense it way far before the next person. You could smell it before you even see it. As soon as it turned the corner, you're like, people just like, what are you talking about? And you're just like, okay, all right. But you can identify, because there's an odor, there's a DNA with that type of energy that it cannot hide from someone who has already had the scars of it. Someone has already experienced it. It can't hide from that person. So those energies intentionally misuse and abuse your gratitude, that you now say, I'm so loyal to you because of what you've done. And they see, not just talk, they've seen how you've executed and you've demonstrated your loyalty. They've seen the sacrifices that you've made to stay loyal to them as a result of the gratitude you're showing as a result of what they've done. They're like, oh, wow. And instead of treasuring that and guarding that and protecting that and saying, oh my gosh, never experienced that level, and I'm not going to do anything to abuse that. I'm going to hold that so near and dear. I'm going to protect that. I'm going to guard that from my own nonsense. I'm going to make sure that I work on me so I don't show up and totally dishonor this level of loyalty and gratitude you're showing me. No, it doesn't do that. It says, with a smile on its face and say, okay, now I'm going to go back to the lowness. I'm going to do some stuff. And because I have you and have your loyalty and gratitude, it's like, oh my gosh. It revels in its own darkness of reviving and spilling out the darkness instead of reflecting on the darkness, seeing the goodness that's right in its life, and saying, you know what, I need to work on me, because this level of loyalty, love, and gratitude is like, wow. No. It doesn't do that. So it's exactly what Justin Trudeau and many political parties do. They see the gratitude, they see the level of dedication, loyalty, and they misuse it. They do not honor it. So my daughter, knowing the biff, when that person violated, and they gave an apology, and then they put one of those biffs in the sentence, I stopped the apology in its tracks. The person was offended that I stopped them in their tracks of their bogus apology. And I turned to my daughter and I said, what did I say about an apology? At this time, my daughter was I would say, so my third was 5. That means my second was 10. She was well, all hell broke loose when she was 12, so this happened when she was 11, because a year later is when stuff hit the fan. So she would have been around 10, 11 when this occurred, when the violation occurred. And I made sure the person know, listen, you're gonna apologize to her, because who you represented to her, you're cleaning this mess up right now. I nipped that in the bud. I said, you're not sowing a seed in her of trauma. No, you plant the seed right now. I make the person rip up that seed. I didn't make it grow any roots. because I went through that. I know the sooner you could rip up a weed, before you, when that weed seed drops, you have a couple minutes to get it out before it grows roots, or before it sheds, and its shedding grows roots. So nip it in the bud quick, fast, and hurry up. And in the middle of it, the lame, bogus apology occurred, and I nipped that in the bud as well, and empowered my daughter with me standing there, another woman, empowering her in the face of that nonsense to see how I responded. I stopped it in its track, unapologetically, fearlessly, in the midst of it, empowered her to speak again, and asked her, is this an apology? What did mommy teach you? And she says, an apology does not have a but, if, and a because. I said, good girl. And I turned to the person and said, you want to start that over again? And the person had to swallow their nonsense and do the apology proper. So when you have a but, a if, and a because, be aware of that's not an authentic apology. The person is about to make an excuse. They're not honoring the first part of it. They're just listing it just to make you hear it, and they're going to discard it. All right? So, African descent I invite you to, it's imperative that we begin that conversation where we can have both. We show gratitude, honor for what was, what occurred, and we stand firm and saying, this is not who we are. What you're representing now, what you're showing me, what you're unfolding, what you're revealing to me, the other side of you, no, partner, I'm sorry, political party, or if you're in a relationship, personal or business, this is not who I am. What I said yes to, what I showed gratitude for, was these personality traits that I really thought you possessed at an abundance, because I'm thinking only an abundant political party with a heart for the people would open up and da-da-da. And I realized, oh my gosh, no, you don't have a heart for the people. It was a political setup. You're expecting loyalty from this people group that you're opening your borders to, because you have an agenda coming. You have an agenda coming, and you rely on support. And the people inside might not support this agenda. So the people outside that you bring in as a result of their undying gratitude, you're expecting a voter base that's just going to push your crap through. Why? Because they're showing gratitude that has now gone over into loyalty. All they see is, this is what the party is saying, I'm saying yes because this party gave me land, this party immigrated me, this party da-da-da-da. And they're not looking at what the issues really are, that it does go against their moral being, their fiber, who they are, their principles. So African descendants, we are conservative. I'm not convincing you, I'm just letting the world know we are very conservative. Many, as I said, you can coin it as biblical principles. If that's how it makes, that's good for you. But biblical principles was not called biblical principles before it had principles. It was principles that was already existing, and man decided to call biblical principles. You want to put a name on it, because he who name owns. You want to copyright it and trademark it as yours. The principles were already there before you put a word on it. And that's what I'm trying to get at. We all created in the image of the us. Let us make man in our image. We can debate, and we can have another podcast on the us. Let us make man in our image. Those images, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, that was the part, that was the us. That was the us. Those three. Wisdom found in the earth. Woo! Suki. You guys getting a lot here, boy. Understanding established firmaments, and knowledge brought down and let the dew fall and broke down the deepest parts. Go back to Proverbs chapter 3 verse 19, 20. It breaks it down and tells you what character traits, personalities, entities, however your English language want to coin it, what existed at the beginning of time, what was used for the creation of this reality we call earth. It was wisdom, it was understanding and knowledge. Go back to your biblical principle Bible, Proverbs chapter 3 verse 19 and 20. It tells you who was responsible for this. And later on in Proverbs, you'll see all those three characteristics. Those three, the Trinity, those three characteristics are always highlighted as a her or a she. Mind-blowing. Yes. When you desire to know truth and you desire truth to show you itself, it requires mirror work of walking away from everything you were taught that was intentionally taught to keep you in submission, keep you enslaved, and keep you under a system. They have to tell you a story and tell you something that keeps you in line. If they allow truth to be revealed and true freedom to mankind occurs, we would not have systems that we are living and dying and paying for, and have those on top immune from their own laws that they say is for all. It's always laws for us and laws for you. There's no equality. So when they talk about equality, equity, equality, they're always talking down. It's never them. Why? Because truth is intentionally not being allowed to be heard and seen. You have to go search for it. Go back to Proverbs again. You have to search for wisdom. Diligently search for her. She's right there to be found. But she's only going to be found by the pursuer who is coming with clean hands and clean heart. Because this type of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding only moves with purity, only moves with integrity, and it's only going to allow itself to be touched, only allow itself to be engaged by pureness of heart. It has no space and no patience and no tolerance for disgustingness. It can't even exist with disgust. Even if it wanted to, it can't, because of the nature of who it is. It cannot reside with darkness. It cannot reside with filth. It requires us to clean up ourselves so that it can actually enter and be a part of us. And it starts off with wanting to have a clean hand and the desire to be clean and wanting truth. It only sees that true desire, not a manipulated desire. It knows if you're telling the truth or not. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding knows when you're bullshitting. You can't hustle them. You can't worldly wise them. They are the world. They created you. Like, they know when you're bullshitting, and they know when you're true. They know when your pursuit of them is from a broken down I want to know you. They know when it's true, and they know when there's a slight hint of bullshit, and they're like, no, we can't even play with that slight hint. That is why many find them when they're truly broken, when they're down, when they've tried it all, when they're spent out, when they're exhausted, and they are to the point of suicide, or some are not to the point of suicide, and they're just like, tell me, show me. When they see you're totally empty, and empty is not empty like empty of the bullshit of the world. When they see you're emptied, and not but, and in your emptiness, you're now saying, show me. I'm done. I thought I knew. This is not what it is. And they see and they feel the tears. Like the tears could really flow, or the tears and the yearning of the heart, they get, and they're like, okay, now we can reveal ourselves. Now we could come. Now we could visit you. Because we identify that you are emptied. You are emptied from this world. You are emptied from everything you were taught that wisdom, understanding, and knowledge knew was bullshit. And they could not reveal themselves to you. Even if they wanted to, they know you wouldn't see them. You would self-sabotage as a result of your training. And that is why it says train up a child in the way that the child should go and grow. So when they come of age, they're not going to depart from that training. And that is why the world is trying to train guardians and parents worldly wisdom. So you're training up your child in the way of the world. That is why the attack is on parenting, on the guardianship. That is why they have teachers now parenting and want to instill values. And this is why I'm running for trustee for Ward 17 for the TDSB. Teachers need to get out of the business of wanting to be my child's parent and my child's guardian of any moral lessons, fiber. No, because you know why teachers can't be that? Because you're your own mess. Clean up your own bag. You can't be teaching my children any moral ethos. What? Who are you? Like, I'm looking at you from adult to adult, and you're plagued with compromise. You're plagued with arrogance of thinking you're better than immigrant parents and guardians. You're plagued with prejudice and bias, and you have the audacity to want to teach my children. You know what? Go back to math, English, science, the arts, French, geography. Stick to that. Stick to that. Get out of the moral subjects. Because teachers, you need your own dose of that subject. No disrespect. Total honesty. You're running with your own baggages, and you are trying to now impart morality, ethics to my child, the ways of the world, gender, racism, genderism, all these isms. Like, no, go back to math, English, French, languages for those that are going into higher learning. So Spanish, Greek, Latin, whatever. Stick to the subjects that's going to assist our children in being competitive in the marketplace. Get out of the business of ethics, of morals. That is for higher learning, where debate is going to be encouraged, which right now it's being killed in post-secondary. So even that is another issue. These type of topics are supposed to be for that category of academia, and even now there is a disgust and a disdain for debate, for discussion, for presenting a different of opinion, for bringing proof, true data. Let's talk about it. Now there, you can't even have that. So what exactly are we producing? Exactly. Worldly, wise, conformed humans from SK to post-secondary who are conditioned to the world, no longer conditioned to the naturalness of being human. That is being frowned upon. That is being legislated against. That is being fined and sentenced and jailed and blocked and shamed and censored. All that is what's occurring right now. So this is why I'm running for Ward 17, Scarborough Center, for the Toronto District School Board for the municipal election. Please come on over, support me. I need as many volunteers as possible so more people in Scarborough Center would know that I am here. And I am here to, yes, shake things up in the TDSB. There are trustees already there that need support. They have been standing, but they're very few, so they need more. They need allies. And there are some who are there that are totally unaware to what they've been supporting, thinking that they're doing the right thing. It is imperative that I get in there. And that is what the agenda doesn't want. The agenda does not want true awakening, or we call illumination, where the light bulb flicks on. They've now used positive words and put this darkness. So illumination now is close to Illuminati. So anytime we hear like, oh my gosh, this is how they work. They find what is good and they contaminate it, that you are afraid of it and don't want to be close to it. Just like the swastika. The swastika was never a symbol of hate and evil. It was turned into that. It was prior to what occurred in World War II. The swastika was already here, and it was a symbol of positivity. It was a symbol of good luck, of well wishes, of vitality, of hope, prosperity. Like it was a symbol of all goodness. And then a dark intention came, corrupted, and now we don't even want to see it. And that is the DNA of narcissism and darkness. It doesn't create a new darkness because it knows you're going to run from it. It finds something good, corrupts it, and now you don't want to have nothing to do with the good thing. Instead of saying, no, it is good, and it was corrupted by this. It's like, we don't even want it, period. That's what this thing is very good at. And that is why I go back to African history and African spirituality when I talk about Western Christianity, where it corrupts truth and turns it into something dark. So now we don't even want to touch it. Because yes, it was turned into something dark. Yes, it was. And it was good. How do we find the truth about what it was and the truth about what happened to turn it negative? And then we truly and rightfully put the true pointing of the finger to what the issue really is. The issue is that person or that entity, that darkness that occurred, not the symbol, not the thing. Because things are inanimate, that it's an object. The thing is not the issue. It's the holder of it. That's the issue. And we can use that in many examples. A car, a knife, a gun, a pen, water. Water used the wrong way is deadly, and lack of it is deadly. A knife could save your life, and a knife could take a life. That is with anything. This microphone I'm using is using to record my voice. You could hear it, and I could use this microphone to record my voice to create something negative. It's not the thing, it's the user of it. All right, so without further ado, I am going to press comment. We're going to see what occurs. So there's my comment. All right, we see it there 1 second ago. Then you can take your time and go back at your own leisure and see if my comment is still there. We're going to click on read more. You get to see it all there. And it's full Monty. All right. So it doesn't have any hyperlinks or anything. So we'll see if the comment is still on Leslyn Lewis's page. For more people to be aware that I am here, and if they know anybody in the Scarborough Center riding, I am on the ballot. Come out and support. Go to my link. My link is opahopeday.ca. That's my name, opahopeday.ca. And my heart is there. I'm unapologetic. My heart is there. And those that prefer to have someone fake that's just going to have their flyer or their website with the typical bullet points that they know people like to see, and then you vote for those people and they turn out not to do anything that's on the bullet. They've been trained. A lot of them are being politically trained. They have campaign managers that are politically trained. I don't have any campaign manager. I don't have a team right now. It's me and myself and I out there. Someone is supposed to assist me. A couple people said that they wanting to assist me. So far haven't come to fruition. And I've made sure I've given Canadians choice politically, provincially. I ran provincially, and I've learned a lot of lessons through running for that party and running provincially, period. And I've also ran federally. I gave Canadians the option federally, and now I'm running municipally. So on 3 levels of the Canadian political system, I've made sure I've shown up, and I've given 110% in each. So again, when I say, when people say to give back, I'm like, no, I've given back. I don't know how many Canadians have stepped into politics to give, quote unquote, give back, and how many Canadians actually take the time to go through their ballot and research each candidate for each position. Or do you just run with a party? So that's just one of many. We talk about give back in the last 2 years of this fight. Trust me, those that heard about Lady Opa, I've been through the International Tribunal. Many of you now that knows about it, that's me behind the scenes bringing that to more Canadian organization and freedom movement and making them aware, and all the cease and desist orders and all of this stuff and all of that. International Common Law Natural Law Tribunal that I came across. I saw the judges. I reached out to the YouTube channel person. They responded back. They connected me to them. One's in UK. One of the judges in UK. The other was in Canada. One is Canadian, out in Vancouver, I believe it is, or BC. One of those. Reached out to them. This was years ago. And reached out to many freedom movements. Told them about them. Like, listen. Let me tell you. There's many behind the scenes things I've been doing. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, let me come out in front and let me let people know, because when you leave things behind the scenes to people, this is where you see how people decide what you, the audience, hear. All of your admins, all of your group have administrations, and they allow you to see posts. They allow you to hear people. So again, when you run from mainstream legacy media complaining that they don't show the truth, the same thing has occurred in your freedom movement. Many of your Telegram groups, your Facebook groups, many of your groups have blocked you from seeing or knowing solutions that could have ended this in 2021, could have ended in 2020. There's many solutions that were attainable and possible to end this, and they unilaterally decided that no, they don't want to let you know, because let me tell you, ding ding ding, your oppression benefits them. Your oppression, this fight, this conflict is a 10-year plan to many. Many are many in the freedom movement are benefiting from this, directly and indirectly. So this thing ending is not in their best interest. Let me tell you something. So when the future me gets this question from someone that says, oh, you need to give back, I'm going to return them to this, because they might not have seen this. Because initially I recorded this for future, and something said, no, put it as a podcast. Put it as one of your weekend bonuses podcast. And only few is going to hear it, because only few is listening to my podcast. And that's it's one of those laughs that you're just like, yep. You know, humanity has this bad pattern of finding truth after. Oh my God, how come we didn't know? Oh my, when was this? Oh my God, it was always here. Oh, it's been here for 10 years. Oh my God, I did. Yeah, that's because you relied on certain people and certain groups to give you access. And those people that hear this, they don't share, they don't tell other people, but you would see them inbox me and DM me and share me all the bad news, all the regurgitation of the sounding box of the echo chamber. Oh man, they click to share, DM, make this go viral. And all they're doing is just rinsing, repeating the echo chamber. And there are many like myself who are giving you true revelations, and they don't share it as much because they don't want to be called, they don't want to be laughed, they don't want to be laughed at, like they see it and so trust me, even if you see 2 views on this, there's 2 people that saw this. 2 people tell 5. Now you got 7, and those 7 keep telling 5. Or 2 people share it to 10 people. Now you got 12 people. Those 12 people share it to 10 people. Let me tell you, word of mouth is still the most effective marketing. Don't listen to what anybody tells you. Word of mouth, Facebook and Instagram and all that never put out any marketing when they came out. WhatsApp, none of them. They put in marketing now. I see some Facebook ads now trying to get people to come back. But in the onset, they didn't use any marketing. It was all word of mouth. It was all word of mouth. And viral videos only become viral because of what? Someone deciding to do word of mouth in a social media way by sharing. But again, guaranteed, your freedom movement groups who have the eyes and ears and the email list do not share with you true actionable steps that can end this yesterday. This is Lady O. Stay in action with faith and possibility. Walk in and protect your light. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean and live like you mean what you say. I'm going to refresh this and we're going to see if it's still here. And someone will say to me, what's the tangible? If your freedom movements were truly organically, unapologetically wanting truth and wanting this to end, the strategy would be for them to use all of their resources. When election time came, let every Canadian know the importance of the election process. Support the candidates and the parties that are showing you receipts of being sacrificial in speaking out, risking their jobs, risking their careers. Support those people. Those people that have shown you that they're truly Canadian. They're truly officers of this corporation called Canada. And they're truly human beings that have a disdain, a detestment for cantankerous manipulators. Support those candidates. All of these, even COVID vaccine injured, all of these platforms that have all the eyes and ears of the people, politics is what got you injured. Let's do reverse engineering. Politics is what injured you. Politics is what shut down your business. Politics is what made you not be able to go and see your loved one on their deathbed. Politics. Not Dr. Fauci, not Bill Gates, not Idris or whatever his name from WHO, politics. And it's not even Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is only empowered by the politicians that prop him up. And each one of you are responsible for the politicians in your writing that you send back to prop up these entities. So when you reverse engineer it, it's politics that has affected your life. And if you further reverse engineer it, it's you who are responsible for the ongoing demise of your quality of life, because it all comes back down to you. And that is why they at the top don't feel guilty, because they're saying, you're keeping us around, you're buying into the nonsense, we put it out there. I'm not going to call the name of who I just heard. I just heard a voice. I'm not going to call the name of that person. But the person's like, listen, we sell it, you buy it. We put it out there in the marketplace for you to consume. You're the one that consume it. We didn't force you to consume it. Listen, these people are geniuses of content creation and product creation. They create the product and you consume it. You demand it. You buy it. You engage with it. At the end of the day, they are not feeling guilty because they're saying, listen, we just put things out there. You bought it. You subscribe to it. You have a monthly subscription to these platforms, these newspapers, these news medias, these shopping stores, these clubs. You have not unsubscribed. You have not. The power of the people is the money. They listen to the money. You want to see these people run for the hills? Pull out your currency from their nonsense. But many of you are so comfortable. You are so comfortable. They know that you wouldn't do it. The boycotting, what's the boycotting do? Please. You guys go back to Timmy's as quick fast because you're addicted to their stuff and you choose not to want to make your own stuff at home. You want to get rid of this political stuff? Stop donating to their campaigns. Stop keeping them alive. Send them a very clear message. Support the candidates, not the party. If you notice what I said, I supported Leslyn. I didn't support the Conservative Party. I supported Leslyn. I also supported Chris Atkinson before his last reveal of who he was. I'm like, oh, thanks for revealing who you are. Because it doesn't take long. It never takes long for them to show you who they are. Trust me, they put up a good... they always will show you because truth is always going to show you truth. Deception, after a while, it has an expiration date. It knows it's going to reveal itself. It just has either a short game or a long game. So I support candidates. I don't support parties. And when I support a party, it's because I support the leadership, the candidate. And then once I see the candidate show me that they are unintegral, they showed me that they're sly and they're disingenuous, and they showed me that they're manipulators, I'm like, okay, there goes both party and person. It does not take long for me to cut, Ask my family. When you show me who you really are and you show me that you're not in the best interest of the all and you're not moving in integrity, you're not moving in listen, my cut is very quick. Like, it comes out like, you're like, whoa. Where the hell did that come from? You're like, whoa. Listen, slice quick. I cut quick. I cut associations quickly. And there's no remorse, because I know there's no remorse. Why? In reflection, I can always look back and see I've given chances, and I've always seen that in giving the chances, this is how you showed up. So you are the one that helped me make the choice. I didn't make the choice. You helped me make the choice. So I'm done. Thank you for listening. Share my conversations. I'm always welcome for guests until I get guests that are consistent or that show interest. It's just going to be me here. It's going to share with you what comes on my heart, what inspires, what comes to me in inspiration. And I'm just here. And as I said from the beginning of many of my things, I'm here for documentation, because there's going to come a time when humanity is going to say, we didn't know, we didn't hear. And then life, the Most High, God, Jesus, Yahweh, Jehovah, Elohim, any of the tongues that you've given a name to, the powerful energy or entity or being that created us in their image. Because your book, the book that you've given me to believe in, the book that was given to my parents' to say this is the truth, called the Bible, your book in Genesis said, let us make man in our image. Your English language that you taught us, you took away our native tongues, our languages, and you said that they were primitive and they were not cultured. You created the English language in the 15th, 16th century, and you taught us that the word us and our means more than one. You taught us that us and our are plural, not singular. You've taught us the word plural and singular means one, and plural means more than one. I'm just repeating what you taught me. So don't hate the messenger. You taught me English, and you taught me the rules and the laws of English language and how to apply it, and plurality, plural means more than one, and you taught me the word us and our. You taught me the alphabet, and you put the U and the S together is the word us, and you taught me that us means more than one gathering. You go back to what you taught us and what you trained us in English. Don't get upset that we use your own teaching against your own book and tell you that you don't make sense. And then you want to make it look like, oh, we're being cantankerous, we're being anti. No, we use your own training on you. You trained us English, you trained us the alphabet, you told us to put the U and the S, that's the word us. You told us the O, the U and the R means our. You give us a definition of what it is. Then you give us this thing called the Bible, and in it is the English language with those words for us to apply. So your book in your language that you taught told us that it said in Genesis, I'm going to tell you what your book in your language that you taught us say. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad that I'm using your own training, if you want to say, against you, to tell you that you're lying. You're missing. Either you're lying, you're omitting, or you're ignorant. I don't know. You pick which one. Either you're lying, you're omitting, or you're ignorant of your own language or your own book. And ignorant could be negative or positive. You figure out which one it applies to you. So either you're lying to me and to us and to humanity with your English language and this book that you gave us called the Bible and told us that this is the only way to get to heaven. You're either omitting something in the Bible, omitting something in the English language that you're choosing for us not to know, or you're ignorant to your own language and to your own book of the contents. That's on you. Your book in your language says, Genesis 1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Verse 2, and the earth was without form. I'm reading from your book, from your king named James, Queen Elizabeth the third or the second. I don't keep up with the numbers of which version of manipulation takes royal assent, and that's what it is. Okay, you look at did you guys not know that Queen Elizabeth, this one that passed second or third, was found guilty, that there was an arrest warrant out for her on an international level from an international tribunal? Did you guys not know that? And her powers have made her evade that warrant, and that was for her involvement in the missing children, the indigenous children. Did you guys know? You guys didn't know about that warrant? They held an international tribunal years ago and they found her guilty. She has not been brought to justice. This is what we talk about power. What kind of power? Now for us, when we find guilty, they send out bailiffs, they send out sheriffs, they send out everybody to get that person and bring them to justice, right? So why is it that there was a warrant out for her on an international level? International tribunal, and nobody has and she was given the luxury of living out her life on her terms and still have reverence. And look at the parade right now. Look at the respect she still has. You don't believe me? You know what? I'm going to show you that. It's in the law books. It's there. Go look it up. But you guys not looking. Why? Because your social media influencers and groups don't have you pay attention to what is really going on. That is why some people are not mourning her passing. You guys don't know the level of violations and evil and things that has occurred on your own watch. Your same book, Genesis, by your king, James, who authorized the book, when it got down to verse 26, same chapter 1, it's now on the 6th day. The 6th day. The day that was number 6 in the creation process that is in your book that you gave us, that told us this is the only way to heaven. Your book says on verse 26 of chapter 1, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over all creeping things that creepeth upon the earth. And over each other, let them have dominion over each other. Let them create systems that have dominion over themselves. And let them it's not there. Oh, my bad. Sorry, my bad. I remember it says no man should add or take away from this word. That's what in your own Bible it also says, that no man should take and add. So let me not add. I'm sorry. I added that as a result of how you Christians have been living, where it's as if it said that part of the command was for you to have dominion over each other. and to support dominion systems, dominion, there you go, systems that govern you over each other. It's as if it said that in the beginning. I am not concerned about what happened after the fall, after darkness and disgustingness entered. I'm not talking about the systems that were now created after. We're going back and looking in the mirror image of what was the intended, the original image. What was the original image of this process called Earth and mankind? That's the mirror image we ought to have been pursuing. Not the pursuit of happiness, not the pursuit of the big house, not the pursuit of the private jets, not the pursuit of high ticket offers, not the pursuit of going on vacations and having your money worth so much to the people in oppression that they just treat you good, and as a result of their oppressive state. That's not the pursuit. Our pursuit after the New Testament had the statement, "It is finished," after truth was crucified. This is what your own book said. After truth was crucified, and mankind says, "Give us the liar, the murderer, and the thief, and take truth." Do you not see the rinse and repeat of mankind? Give us Barabbas, the character of all things disgusting, and go and crucify Jesus, Yeshua, the character of all things truth, honest. Why? Because you have Pharisees, Sadducees, and all these people of influence whisper in the air and in your ears, and you go into a mob style mentality, throw out all critical thinking, and say, "Hold on, what? Why do you want us to do that? Why are we crucifying truth? No, you make it make sense to me." "Oh, that's because I am intellectual. I have a PhD in this, and I have a PhD in that, and I have a doctorate in this, and as a result of the thesis and and you're like, "Oh, okay, no, okay, I'm sorry. What did you just say?" No, come down from your highfalutin letters. Come as one speaker says, come down to grade 4 English. Come down to grade 4 English and make it make sense at a grade 4 level why I should be crucifying truth, why I should be wanting to kill truth and in its place want a liar, a murderer, and a thief. No, make it make sense on a grade 4 English level. Bring it down. No, we go through this mob style because oh my God, they're so infinite. That person is saying that. Oh, it's the same rinse and repeat we did, ladies and gentlemen. You have your highfalutin letters behind people's name, telling you all bag of nonsense, making it sound great and making it sound like it's too intellectual to you and you need to just trust them, and making you think that you're dumb where you can't get it. And on a grade 4 level, common sense is like, no, but this does not make sense. And they make it look like your grade 4 level request of them making it sense on a grade 4 level is beneath them. No, I'm sorry. You want me to co-sign on crucifying someone? You want me to co-sign and going around and hating people? You have Justin True and his highfalutin self telling you to go and have this disdain? You want to kick people out your family? You want to divorce people? No, you better make it make sense to you on a grade 4 level, partner. You want me to co-sign on this? And if you can't make it on a grade 4 level make sense, then it ain't sense. Because if it makes sense, you should be able to make it make sense on any level. Truth makes sense on any level. Because truth is truth. Make it make sense. And as a result of them knowing, they go all out to change definitions, change descriptions. Like they go and start messing with their own English language. English language is the only that's how you know it's a deceptive language. This is how you know the English language is a deceptive language. Be very careful how you use it. It's the only language that can go and change a word definition to another definition, and I'm telling you, this is the new definition. Forget the definition before. They didn't even create a new word. They took a word that already had a definition, established definition that goes way back, and they go and they make a law now that says, oh, it doesn't, this is not what it means now, it means this, and the law says now this is the new one. My God. Listen, reverse engineer, Canadians. You are the reason why your life is the way it is. It's not them. The rinse and repeat patterns that they do, they are laughing at you. And we are frustrated with you. You have two sides of the coin. One side that's laughing at you, because nobody's laughing with you, because this ain't no joke the way your life has been. Let me know if this is a joke. So ain't nobody laughing with you, because I don't think you're laughing. So you have one side that's laughing at you and another side that's frustrated with you, because you are frustrated. And our frustration isn't with your frustration. Our frustration is with you, because you are what is creating the frustration. So the verse doesn't say all that. It just ends in verse 26 that just says, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, over the earth, and over every creeping, crawly thing that crawleth upon the earth. Unless you constitute yourself as a creepy, crawly thing, unless you've lowered yourself to fit that description, that is where you have dominion over each other. Are you a creepy, crawly thing? Are you a cattle? Are you a fowl? Well, you know what? Hey, they've been able to change the definition of so many things. Maybe secretly you didn't know that they changed your definition from human to cattle. They changed your definition from a living man to their own identity of a fictitious being that they own. Because I don't see you in your living state listed here as to who to have dominion over. I see the categories, so I'm wondering which one do you fall into that you allowed them to put you in? Which category did you allow them to put you in? The creepy crawly? Are you a creepy? Are you a cattle? Are you livestock? Which category, which class did you allow a human being to take you out of your human being status and put you into a different class or state? Interesting, isn't it? Because I see a lot of you running under a lot of classes that they give you. You're no longer human. You're no longer a living man. You're black. You're no longer a living woman. You're white. You're no longer a human being. You're all colors that they tell you. They call you a judge. They call you a police officer. You're no longer a living man acting as a law enforcer. No, you are a policeman. You are a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I'm a scientist. They've now made you change your I am to their class that they own. Be careful of the word that follows after I am, that you class yourself as. That takes you out of the class of being a human being that they have to give respect and dignity and rights to. When you take yourself out of the class of being called a human being and you identify yourself in their class, you've now identified your rights as that class of being. And that is why I do not call myself, and my father trained me never to call myself black. Because black is a class that they created. It's a color class. And color does not have human rights. Interesting. Train up a child in the way that they should go and grow. So when they come of age, they don't depart. That is why there's many trainings I don't depart from, because I have been aware of many things from since I was a little girl. And that is why when I step into places and spaces, many people are uncomfortable with me because my energy moves differently. I'm really signing off now. This is Lady O. Stay in action with faith and possibility. Walk in and protect your light. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean and live like you mean what you say. I invite you to listen to this podcast from the beginning to the end to get the full spectrum and the full engagement and the full context of everything I just said. So we are going to refresh as I promised.
Hi everyone, it's Steve Outhouse from Leslie Lewis's campaign here with our final message to you as Leslie supporters of the campaign.
And now it goes down to 17. So what that shows you, it was 19 before, which was my comment. That means my comment is technically there, but you're not seeing it. It was 19 before. They took it away, so it was 18. We started off as 18. I made my comment. It's no longer there. It's now down to 17. So, am I making any claims? I'm not making any claims. I'm just showing you the facts. You can come up with your own claim. The fact is, what you saw with your own eyes and what you saw with your own eyes after. All right? So, if you are relying on platforms to make you be aware of things, I would strongly suggest that you become independent in all areas of your life. I ran federally independently as an independent. Provincially, I was going to run independently, and I was told about a party. The people I supported what the sacrifice has been, and I supported what they were building. I always put my money, my energy, and everything. When I say do something 110%, when I throw my support in, I throw my support in. And my support was way even more than that. My sharing, my commenting, my defending. And I allow people to show me who they are. I am a strong proponent of not listening to other people. I allow people interaction directly with me for me to come to my own conclusion if what was said is true, or if what was said was that experience between that person and that person. And all I have to say is the experiences that I've experienced both with Derek Sloan and with Jim Carahallowis. I've had my own personal experience with both, and they both are part of the problem. I supported Leslie Lewis and I support Chris. I didn't support the CPC party as a result of they failed Canadians, they failed me, they failed all of us when they allowed Erin O'Toole to continue to go along with the Justin Trudeau narrative, the liberal narrative. They failed us as a party, so I didn't trust any of them as a party. After that, other things became aware of the party that was very made public through Derek's own statement and Jim's statement. I'm like, yeah, the party is corrupt. I still support the people as a result of there are people that can still be in something and wanting the best and hoping for the best and really giving it the best. So I support the people. And I watched what occurred and I see what's happening, and I was like, this is why Canada is going to go where it's going to go. You ask me where it's going to go, I'm not going to tell you, because that's the problem with many of you. You want to be told. You do your own critical thinking and your deductive reasoning. Many of you were warned about Pierre. Many of you saw where his picture was and the group that he was associated with. His reasoning on a grateful level didn't make sense as to why his face and his name was listed on WEF. He gave you a story that he knows some of you are wanting to hear because you desire to hold on to a dream and identity. So whatever he says, you're going to be like, oh, okay. I saw and experienced myself through Roman Barber. I'm like, listen, the only honest ones there that I would give the benefit of the doubt was Chris and Leslin. Chris's bio talks about him being on his own thing. I believe when he was 17, I believe he left home or he was kicked out. One of those things I read somewhere. What stuck with me was that he was on his own since a teenager. So his story didn't come from he came up with a gold spoon in his mouth like the Trudeau. Justin didn't have no hard knock life. He give me a break. Justin, come on now. So I was like, okay, Chris shatters that quote unquote color privilege. I saw Leslin. I heard about Leslin. I read about her. I'm like, she also shatters that story of color disadvantage. Look at them both. They both made it despite all of this color nonsense that people want to put as barriers. Okay, so I didn't support the party because the party is corrupt. Until the MPs could make sense as to why all of them allowed Aaron to not be an opposition, and then when it was time to kick him out, many of them did everything to keep him in. I was like, listen, no. So I'm very proud of those that stuck to the gun and got him out. And is it so that they could usher someone else in? Now this is where there's always a point in every of their game where we can flip the script. We can mess up the play. We can spoil the plan. Every play that they play, think of any sport, this is a game to them. We talk about Hunger Games and whatever sport. This is a sport to them. It's a game to them. At every point of their action or their throw or their play, there is always an opportunity to thwart their plan, to intercept them, to do a turnover. You have to have players in the game who are truly, authentically wanting to thwart the plan, wanting to do a course correction, aka a turnover. You have to have members on your team that see that we do not want that team to win. We want truth, freedom, and liberty to return. And we do have corruption within the party, and we have integral people in the party, and we are here to thwart the plans of taking over the Conservative Party totally into the hands of the WAF. And we have our secret agents inside who are integral, and we're going to rebuild the Conservative Party to where it was. That is possible. So I was looking for the players within the party that could have been candidates of a turnover. For that to happen, we need Canadians to get out of their feelings and get out of their perceptions and look at principles. Look at the actions. And look at the explanation on a grateful level if it makes sense. And Pierre's explanation as to why his name was there and what, it did not make any sense to me. Anybody with like, and this is why I said they're laughing at you, because they really are believing that you are stupid. And unfortunately, Canadians, how you manifest your response does support what they say about you. I'm not calling you stupid. What I'm saying, your response manifests what they are saying. On a grade 4 level, Pierre's excuse made no sense. Administration error, typo error, I shouldn't have been. I'm sorry. Then how come Leslyn wasn't there? If out of all of the Conservative Party members and shadow cabinet people, why was it you that was accidentally put there? A bio was there, all this stuff, and then like, how come Leslyn wasn't there? Then I'm hearing that she gave up a shadow cabinet position. Other people running into the position, and she gave it up because she decided that, no, I'm not going to disclose her medical status. I'm listening to this woman's actions, and you Canadians, I shake my head. It's like you hand over the party to Pierre, the face that was on the WF as part of leadership. Like, I'm just like, you know what? I'm on the municipal level running for trustee. You guys want to do a turnover, I'm here for it. You know what they say, coach, put me in. I'm here. The coach put me in. I'm on the line. It's up to the quarterback to throw me the ball. If I'm there, I show up to practice, I'm busting my ass, I'm there, the coach says yes, I'm putting you in the game, and the quarterback don't want to throw me the ball, and the quarterback is the Canadian people on a federal level, the Ontarian people on a provincial level, and now the Torontonian parents and guardians on that level, because I'm into school, but I'm not going to counselor and all that. That's another level of brainwashing over there. I'm in the game, the coaches put me in, I'm there. If the quarterback doesn't want to throw me the ball, and that's the people, ain't nothing I can do. I'm going to run the play. I'm going to put my 110% into it. If they don't throw me the ball, it's not because I didn't show up and I wasn't there and they did not have the opportunity to have another play. That's all I got to say. I'm really, 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 really done now. I'm really, really, really done. Because I got to go. Because it's 12:11. Beautiful. 2, 3, 4. 5. Grace. Yes. So it's 12:11. I gotta go. I gotta get ready for 1 o'clock for me to go out there and do some door-to-door, some strategic door-to-door. Me, myself, and I. And we'll see what happens. So this is my bonus podcast for the weekend. Regular return Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I go live on the YouTube channel, and then I upload the podcast the next day, the Tuesday. I endeavor to do it at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Tuesday. And I'm a single mother that's have a lot of moving parts. So please forgive me if it's not up on podcast channels, on the Anchor and the Spotify and all that by the next day at 11 a.m. Episode 6 is not up yet because it's very long, and I am again editing it myself so I could break it down into chunks, and haven't been able to get to it. However, if you're listening, it is live on the YouTube channel and it's full length. So feel free to head over to my YouTube channel and listen to episode 6. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Ciao.